Hey, what is up, you guys, and welcome to this episode of Eddie's Customs and Restorations. So today we have this 2006 Malibu, and it's got that 3.5 liter engine. This engine is found in, I believe, 2004 through 2006 Malibus, Impalas, Pontiac G6s, and I'll try to basically give a list of the cars that have this this engine. But anyhow, we're doing oil pan gasket replacement. We ran into a couple of hiccups. The pan was basically giving us a headache to come down. We saw that there was like a little bit of an ear there that was in the way, and then I was like, hey, you know what, is there any other video on YouTube that talks about this? Well, there wasn't. Everybody skips the part of the hardest part of removing this oil pan. So right now what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the details that everybody is leaving out on those other videos. And before we go under, I just want to show you a couple of key points or things that we removed or did to remove the pieces. So right here you see that I'm using a cherry picker, and yes, this car is on top of a trailer, but yeah, we're using the cherry picker or the engine crane, whatever you want to call it, and we're tied into right there to that bracket on the motor. And then these are a couple of other pieces you're gonna have to remove in order to gain access to everything. So this is your oil filter housing or pickup, and you got to remove this one to gain clearance. This is your exhaust pipe. I saw some videos that they didn't remove that, but it was, in my opinion, it was in the way, so we just took it down. And some AC brackets that had to come off. So here are the pieces. You know, look at these pieces, and if you see these pieces on your car, they're gonna have to be removed in order to, you know, remove the oil pan. So here's a starter. Starter also has to come down. As for your AC compressor, when you do get to the brackets that you have to remove for the AC compressor, you do not have to open your AC system. So go ahead and remove all the bolts that hold up your AC compressor, and once you do so, make sure you have something like a rope or a hanger or something like that, and tie it up around your AC compressor to hold up the compressor and not have your AC lines under tension. So let's dive right in. First things first, we pulled the harmonic balancer out a little bit to give us a little bit of clearance to pull the pan to the front using like one of those fork pullers, the 3-jaw pullers. So pulled it out a little bit. So of course right now the motor's up higher because I got it on the cherry picker right here. Got it held up from right there, and that's why the motor's sitting up higher, because normally this balancer pulley would be like down over here. Anyhow, when you have all the bolts completely removed from your oil pan, there's gonna be an area. This is the front of the pan, so this is where the harmonic balancer is. The back is not gonna want to come loose. You're gonna be there struggling with it, and it's not gonna want to come down. So let me go under here, under the car, and I'm gonna show you what tab you actually have to remove. So here we are under the car. This is your transmission pan, and this is your pickup tube. So this oil pan goes right here. Okay, let me see if I can bring it up so you can kind of get an idea of more or less where it goes, so you can get a general idea. Okay, so it went right here. Now I'm gonna turn this guy around. This tab right here, they make an indentation from the factory because where this bracket goes right down here. All right, so in order for this bracket to be mounted, obviously it needs 2 mounting points, like it's got the 2 little, one right here, one right here. And what needs to be done, or what's stopping the pan from coming down, is that little tab right here. So that one went right there. So you have 2 choices. One, you can either separate the transaxle, which is the transmission, you can separate it from the motor so you can pull it apart and move the motor away from the transaxle or transmission to gain clearance for this guy to pass through, or you can shave down this mounting point right here for the bracket. So now this four screw bracket that goes right here, that goes right here, it's got 4 bolts. Now it's only going to have 3 because we cut off the other mounting point that went right here. This is what's stopping your oil pan from going. So that notch right here, that notch is basically made so that that hump, like this one, you see how this one has a hump right here. There was a hump over here as well, so that's what that notch is there for. So again, the only way to bypass that is you pull the motor away, and that way you can, you know, fish the oil pan out, or you can grind it off. So you're limited on space, and there's only a couple of ways that you can cut that that ear off. And my buddy here ended up using these 3 tools basically that we got on hand right here. So you can start it with this one, or you can go right ahead and use a saw. Okay, so I'm not really holding this thing right, but I don't want to get it all greasy. But anyhow, you can come in with this one and basically saw it off like that, right? Another way is when you're continuing your process, say you don't cut enough, you can use a Dremel tool like this one. And that's a carbide bit that is on this tool. And that one, you basically are grinding it down. You're shaving off all these additional little pieces of steel, which is the ones that you see all gray up in there. Okay, of course we're gonna blow all that off, but we're gonna do that once we put the new gasket and put the pan back on, because you don't want all these metal shavings going inside the motor. You don't want any metal shavings whatsoever inside this area of the motor. This is your crankshaft and all your main bearings and your rod bearings are all right here. You don't want any metal shavings in there. So don't blow this away with air or anything like that, because you're going to get it all over this. So once you get done, leave it alone. Clean up your oil pan real good, and then replace your seal, put it on. And then once you're done, then you can blow all this away, because now you're protecting everything with the oil pan.